fabulous man that I met at the Breakthrough Business Boot Camp out in Denver. His name is Ted Prodromou, and he is America's leading LinkedIn coach. He's awesome. He has a plethora of knowledge, and he desperately is going to need to help me with my LinkedIn profile, but I don't want him to profile me today because it's quite embarrassing for me at this point in time. So please welcome Ted Prodromou.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ted. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody. You are an award-winning author of The Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business. And that is super huge. And I have the book, and unfortunately not in my reach right now, but he has the book that guides you step by step through LinkedIn. And he keeps dropping these little tidbits of information on me through Messenger on LinkedIn. But let's just start talking, Ted. You've got lots to talk about.
Are you ignoring me on LinkedIn?
Yes. It's like, please don't tell me what I'm doing wrong. Here I am about a whole growth mindset. It's like, but not on LinkedIn. I can't deal with it right now. I don't think I'm that bad. I've been slowly incorporating what you've said.
I've seen much worse.
So Ted, you have to tell the audience, tell us, please share with us. I mean, I know your story is on your LinkedIn profile that you survived the .com crash, but do you want to share your background on how you got to where you are and, you know, what got you into this LinkedIn guru-ish? You're a guru. I see guru all over you. But how did you get from where you were to now? Can you share that story?
Sure. It's like one of those crazy stories. For 20 years, I was in Silicon Valley in the high-tech world. I was fixing computers when most companies didn't have computers in their offices. People still had typewriters, and fax machines came out. Everybody was so excited about those. And so through the 80s and 90s, I got into computer networking. I was like, just like a kid in the candy store, just having a great career. I remember saying one day, I was like, I am so blessed. For the last 20 years, I have been like a kid in a candy store, working my dream jobs. I'll never have to worry about my career ever. And of course, boom, the universe takes care of that with the .com crash. So I got certified as a coach because I love mentoring my employees, realized I didn't know how to market, started learning marketing, got into social media, and now I've written 3 books about LinkedIn in 8 years, and I wrote Ultimate Guide to Twitter for Business also during that time. So
What's the second book?
it's Ultimate Guide to Twitter for Business. It's part of the Entrepreneur Press's the Ultimate Guide series.
Okay, so what's then your third book?
I have 3 LinkedIn editions.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 3 LinkedIn ones and then 1 Twitter one. I missed that, Ted. I missed that somewhere.
See?
You caught me.
I never dreamed in my life I would be an author, and here I've written 4 books in 8 years.
4 intensive books that tell us step by step. I mean, it's not high level. You say, do this, click here, do this, click here. I mean, that's a lot of work.
That's what my publisher wanted. They want from people that are very beginners just signing up for these platforms and then going to more advanced strategies for seasoned users.
Okay, because yeah, I know I was looking at the part where you're not a subscriber for LinkedIn, and then you have like the back end of LinkedIn. Now, please fill us in on that, because a lot of people I don't think realize that there is a back door into LinkedIn that does all sorts of amazing business features and search feature kind of things. Do you want to help us with that? Because
Sure.
you blew my mind when you said that at the boot camp.
I get some comments from people saying, why do you have a whole chapter on setting up your LinkedIn account from scratch? They're still adding 2 new members every second still. They're growing faster than ever right now. So once you have your account established, there's a lot of tricks you can do to appear in the searches more often. People don't realize LinkedIn is a search engine. They think, you know, that's not a search engine. Google's a search engine. No, but people go to LinkedIn, they search for an accountant, or they search for a professional coach. So people are searching for your skills. So there's a lot of places throughout your profile you can put certain keyword phrases or skills so you'll rank higher, just like you rank higher in Google for your website.
So LinkedIn is a people searching engine.
Right, exactly.
Ah,
And a business searching engine. But you're searching for a skill set, usually. You're not searching. Sometimes you're searching for people because you're going to meet with them. Actually, 83% of the time, people will look at your LinkedIn profile before they'll have a meeting with you.
in my case, 100% of the time.
Yes.
And if I can't find them on LinkedIn or they don't have a picture, do I want to meet them? I mean, really, I seriously do that. Do I want to meet them if they don't even have a picture? And it's like, who am I really meeting? And so it's a really big deal for me to look up on LinkedIn. But the things that you've shared in your book, and people, you've got to find the book, because there are things I didn't know LinkedIn even did. I saw a feature in there where you could search a company. So let's say you have a business where a company only works with between up to 12 employees. You can put that in your search. And a lot of us didn't know that existed, but he gave a talk at the boot camp and he's like, oh yeah, just do this and then do this and voila. We're like, whoa. It would save you so much time looking for and searching for the right business to work with, or the kind your avatar client. You can put them directly into LinkedIn.
Right, exactly. If you work with companies that are under 10 employees, you do a search and put in that criteria, what industry they're in and the company size. You can even search for by revenue again. They brought that back. So you just put that in and it goes out and finds these people for you. And then you can actually save that search and it runs automatically 24 hours a day. And every week you get an email saying, here's 52 more people that meet your search criteria.
The other thing you showed me was, you showed the group, was you could put in a keyword for people to write when they write their LinkedIn post, that you can put in a keyword and it'll bring up every post that has that series of words or keyword, whatever.
The hashtags.
The hashtags?
Yep. Remember the old hashtags from Twitter? LinkedIn used to use them and then they kind of phased out for a couple of years. Now they brought it back where you can actually follow hashtags. Like you could follow the hashtag motivation. It would be perfect for you. And I think there's over 15 million people following that hashtag on LinkedIn. So every time there's a post that has the hashtag motivation in it, it'll show up in your news feed on your homepage.
Now, do you have to have the advanced level of LinkedIn in order to do these really cool things, or do the basic ones have that ability?
No, that's basic LinkedIn, free LinkedIn.
You hear that, people? Free part of LinkedIn is highly usable.
So what happens, like if you put in motivation and you post something and we weren't connected, it would show, oh, Michelle posted this great article about motivation. We're second level connection. So I would invite you to connect with me because I know you're interested in the same topics I am.
That's really brilliant.
That's awesome.
That is brilliant. Now, the other day, you messaged me through LinkedIn and said, LinkedIn has video. People don't know about this. And he sent me a video message. Did you know that? Those of you listening and watching right now, did you know that LinkedIn had a video messaging version? It's inside of the message, right? It was just know where the little 3 dots are. You click that and there's other options that we didn't even know were there. And Ted was playing with it.
I like to play with these things. I kind of figure it out as I go along. Growing up, I used to take things apart at home and put them back together. My mother's like, stop taking the TV apart. Stop taking the radio apart.
Okay, then we need to go backwards then. How did you get so amazing at LinkedIn? I mean, really, you know it from page to page and you track it. I mean, you know when changes happen. What got you so, one, interested in LinkedIn in the first place, and two, how did you get so incorporated into that? Can you share that story? Because that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it's actually way back before the 2008 crash, which blew up my business for the second time. But I was learning Google AdWords years ago from Perry Marshall, who was considered the Google AdWords expert. And he had this thing where you could come to his house for 2 days, 4-man intensive, he calls it. And you work on your business for 2 full days in his house at his home office. So I went to this, and it was back before social media was even called social media. It was called Web 2.0. And I'd written an ebook about Web 2.0. It's the new interactive internet. Friendster and MySpace were the big sites back then. So Perry's saying, wow, this stuff's pretty fascinating, Ted. And he starts doing some Google searches. And he goes, you need to write a book about Twitter. I'm thinking, wow, Twitter just came out. And how am I going to write 300 pages about Twitter? So I wrote an ebook about Twitter. And then a few years later, I get a phone call. And it's like, hey, I'm Perry Marshall's agent. He's written the best-selling book on Google AdWords and the best-selling book on Facebook ads for Entrepreneur Press. Would you like to co-author 2 books with him? I'm like, wow.
Wow.
So, yeah, long story short, Perry said, I'm not even on LinkedIn, so you just write that book. I'll write the foreword. And I do a little Twitter, but you just write that book. I'm too busy. So I got 2 book deals because I invested in my own
business.
Basically, I hired a coach that was teaching me the latest and greatest Google AdWords, but it led to these books. And that's how I really got into LinkedIn, because 8 years ago, LinkedIn was just a shell of what it is today.
Exactly. Well, I'm just thinking that what just went through my mind was, Ted, you are the personification of the power of yes. I mean, if you had said, well, you know, I really don't know it, and it's kind of new, and you waffled,
yeah,
all of these years would have been completely different. It's that power of yes that you said, okay, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. And then you did the same thing with LinkedIn.
I invested in a coach who was really, I couldn't do it alone. I was like, hey, this guy knows Google AdWords. Google AdWords is hot. I can learn a lot from him. But Perry knows so much more about growing a business. So I obviously invested with one of the best mentors.
That's a phenomenal story. That's a great testimony for coaches in general.
Yeah.
The doors that open when your mind gets open to other opportunities, things that you never even thought of.
Yeah. Because we all have our blinders on, you know, we think, oh, this is what I'm going to do for my business. This is really cool. But when you get another set of eyes on it, it's like, well, maybe you don't want to go exactly that direction, Ted. Maybe you should go this direction instead.
Wow. I didn't know that part of your story.
Yeah.
But that's what's so cool about the power of yes and trying and, you know, figuring it out as you're going. You basically learned LinkedIn to the depth that you did as you were trying to teach it to other people.
I had 642 connections when I wrote that first book.
Oh, you are so beyond that number. How many connections do you have on LinkedIn right now?
Close to 22,000 now. So.
So I'm at your level right now that you were at many years ago. Wow, I need to catch up.
Start building momentum. You start getting people that find you and they invite you to connect. I don't ever invite people to connect anymore because people find me when I'm on shows like this. I've been on a lot of virtual summits lately. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of speaking around the world. So people connect with me on LinkedIn.
Wow. Now, how do you weed out the people that you want to connect with and the people you don't want to connect with? Or do you not refuse? I mean, do you just say yes to everybody?
I used to, but recently, the last few months, I've kind of stepped back from that approach.
Okay. Because I tend to read everyone's profile to see, are they safe or are they not?
Right.
Or like
women have to watch out because there's a lot of creepy men asking women out all the time now.
I know people think LinkedIn is a dating site, you know, and what I do is like what you say on your LinkedIn profile, people have they make a decision in 2 seconds as they're scrolling. And if you don't do something that makes you stand out, they keep scrolling. So do you have the ability to stop the scroll? And so I go to people's website or to their LinkedIn site and I look very quickly. And if it doesn't, I just say no. So I actually still say no. Because if I don't see a connection, then I'm like, then how did you find me? And it makes me kind of iffy, especially as a woman and people trying to use it as a dating site.
Right. Think of it as you want to buy some product So you go to Google and you do search, right? You're just looking for information about a certain product, and websites will come up. And imagine you come to a website that's half built, or it doesn't look very pretty. It just doesn't function well. You're probably not going to buy that product from that website. You're going to go to a better looking website. So your LinkedIn profile has to be one of the better looking LinkedIn profiles.
Well, and in my case, in LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn and you're showing a lot of cleavage or way too much chest or leg for some weird reason, you are not being connected with. I will not connect. Because the LinkedIn is a very professional site. I mean, I see it as business, right? It's a business site. And if you have your business there as, I don't know, I'll use motivational speaker, motivational speaker, and you're in a lingerie thing doing this, probably not going to connect with you, because what kind of motivation are you doing? So
Right. And there are those people on LinkedIn like that.
I know. I'm a motivational something. I don't know what that is. But no, it's so fascinating. For those of you who are listening and watching right now, if you go to Ted's LinkedIn Prodromou, Prodromou, his site's pretty rocking, and he changes his header often. So one day it'll be one thing, the next day it's another thing, but they always make you stop. I mean, you really do know what you're talking about. Surprise! You wrote 3 books on it. But that's what's so cool about it, is most of us put our LinkedIn profiles up and just leave it.
Yeah.
Ted says, don't do that, right, Ted? What's the magic behind that?
Because people are looking at your profile. When you connect with somebody below on the screen, that'll say, you may also know these people. So the LinkedIn algorithm is like always connecting you with people they think are similar or who could be beneficial to your business. So automatically every day you're being shown your picture, your name, and your professional headline are being shown to thousands of people on LinkedIn, and you don't even know it. And that's how people find me. By default, LinkedIn puts your job title of your current job as your professional headline right under your name. So it says accountant at XYZ Corporation. And if you search for an accountant, there's probably 20 million accountants on LinkedIn.
So you want to do something that makes you stand out from all the rest of the accountants.
Exactly.
So for a while there on my LinkedIn profile, I think I had ractus. No one knew what that was, but I did it on purpose because I wanted people to look it up. And it means a gifted female storyteller.
That's great. That's perfect.
Okay. Oh, I guess I should put it back.
Just something that's going to, like you said, stop the scroll. We're on our phones. We're scrolling with our head buried in our phone half the day. So what's going to make people stop and read your profile?
So that is in the job title. So really, you don't truly want your job title there. You want what you do for people, basically what's in it for them in that spot.
Who do you help and how do you help them?
Aha. So like now I'm the director of communications for the bender-careygroup. I will get lost in the feed, but if I say I help people develop their businesses and people to develop their messages so that they can have a stronger presence in person and online, something like that.
Right.
That would help more. Okay, I got homework.
Gonna get my attention and say, I want to learn more.
Okay, I got to do homework again.
So the way I describe it now is, remember the old days where there was these things called bookstores?
Yeah.
You go into the bookstore and they had a display and some book title caught your attention, or you're at the library now, or Amazon, just scrolling through Amazon, you see books.
Something flashy.
A title of a book will get your attention. Like, oh, that got my attention. You pick it up and the inside flap of a book continues the story, tells you what this book is about and tries to pull you in. So I use the about section of your LinkedIn profile as that. So your book title would be your professional headline that grabs their attention. And then the about is a continuation of that, where they get to know, like, and trust you. And then if they really are interested, they'll go look at your experience section where you talk about where you worked, where you went to school, all those details.
Inside flap. I'm taking homework notes. I wrote book title is your job title, about section, inside folder of book.
Yeah.
I mean, because when I wrote my 2 books, they were like, okay, make sure the images capture people. Make sure the font is something that you want. It's that demographic who you want to read your book. So you don't want it to look very hard and businessy because you're talking about inside feelings. You want it to be a little more, I'm like, so that's what we're doing.
Right.
LinkedIn is a gigantic search book.
And you know, a lot of people talk about themselves in their profile, which is, you know, your expertise and all your credibility, but that's down in the experience section.
Okay.
I use the upper part of the profile is to build that relationship.
So you want to be human in your about section. And you don't say, Michelle Mras was a blah, 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 because we know it's you. So I am a blah, 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 blah. Okay.
So what I've had people do recently now, I'll get on a call like this, we're on a Zoom call, and I say, okay, let's pull up your profile. Now read it to me. Say your name and say your headline, and then read your about section to me. And they start reading it, it's like, doesn't make much sense, or it doesn't really reflect what they do now. So they get embarrassed. They're like, oh my God, I gotta fix this.
I'm looking it up right now.
And it's been so powerful to have them read that to me out loud. It's like, no, pretend we're talking like we're talking right now, or we're at Starbucks having a cup of coffee. Casual conversation with one person, one-on-one. That's what LinkedIn tells you they want.
Mine's
You're
not
connecting
bad.
with one person at a time.
Mine isn't bad. It's long. Is it okay if it's long?
You get 2,500 characters or something. I think that's what the latest is.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of mine, okay? So you can laugh or you can do, well, not bad. Okay, you ready? My about section says, as a communication and human behavior expert, I specialize in crafting outward communication skills and, more importantly, provide a reality check to what your inner critic says. Enter Glasgow says the differences between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. So I help people step out of that rut by confronting their inner critic.
I like it.
Okay, good.
What's your headline? Start with your headline.
My headline, and that's my business, right?
Yeah, under your name.
Right under your name, it says, get out of your way to achieve what you want. Award-winning international TEDx speaker, coach, and author.
Okay.
Director of Communications for bender-careygroup.
And then you roll into that about. Continue the story.
And it's long. Because it goes through what I believe, what the things I do, and then some of my experience that's worldwide that I've raised in the Philippines. I married my high school sweetheart, relocated as a military spouse for 20 years, and now I'm part of the John Maxwell team, and blah, 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 blah. And I say about the things I've spoken on and the places I've gone to speak and what I've spoken on. And then I go down to living and traveling around the world has provided me a unique perspective and a gift to connect well across all audiences. As a life as a military child, along with its ups and downs, expanded my mind to understand people regardless of their background. And then I put notable accomplishments, and then I say the awards I've won. And then, believe it or not, from one of your other part of your book that I read, I put in videos of me, clips of me speaking, my book links, and a couple of my radio shows. I'm learning.
So I'd like to start even a little more towards the top. Talk about them more than you.
Like a regular speaker would.
It's like where you talked about how you help people in your headline, and talk about the problems they have. Like mine, I talk about stop the scroll. And then I to explain why you need to stop them from scrolling, because your subconscious mind within 2 seconds determines if it knows, like, if it can trust you or likes you.
Okay, so keep doing what I would have normally done from the stage.
So a little bit at the beginning, talk about them and their problems, and then you transition to how you can help them solve that problem.
Okay, so add a paragraph.
So, yeah. And then your awards and all those things, you can stick down in the awards section too, maybe just reference it briefly.
Okay, I did actually, because they're in the award section.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like we're having a conversation here, a natural conversation with somebody reading your profile.
Okay.
I find that's much different because everybody else does it the boring way. Michelle went to school at blah, blah, blah. And
yeah, it's like, I don't care. Yeah, right. I don't care.
What's in it for me, right?
Yeah, what's in it for me? What can you do? Okay, and I didn't answer my own, I answered it in my catcher title, basically, but I need to go more into it. Okay.
And if you're working for a company and you're an employee, you're not in your business for yourself, you use the same kind of story, same approach, because recruiters are going to come across your profile. And if you have something that's different, you can say, I'm a software developer, I know all these languages, blah, blah, blah. But if you tell a story and be different than the 10 million other programmers out there, people notice that. Companies will notice that. It's like, oh, this guy's different. It's like a different resume. When you send in a resume, everybody's got the same format, blah, blah, blah. Get your keywords in the right place so the scanner picks you up. You want to be different. We're all different. We all have our skills. We're really good at certain things, and we all have stories to tell. So,
And I should know that as a storyteller. Well, and the thing is I do the same thing that but you say you have 2 seconds. My big line usually is you have 3 seconds to make a strong first impression. And I always talk about your body language and your vocal variety, your intonation, that kind of thing. And so when I talk about that kind of thing, it's the same thing. LinkedIn is your body language, and you need to stop people with your body language of being different than everyone else, being more confident than other people, and having something to give back to them.
Right.
So I need to apply what I do on a physical level onto the LinkedIn level.
Right.
Ooh, okay.
Did you ever read the book Presence from Amy Cuddy?
No.
That's where I got all this information about the 2 seconds and the subconscious mind. She's done a lot of studies about it.
Oh, and see, and I did it through some of my meditation and my mentors. Because what we realized is, people don't own the space that they live in.
Yeah.
We walk gently, and we apologize for being who we are. And part of the brain work I did when I was recovering from my brain injury was learning to be who I am, where I am now, and owning the space I have and don't apologize for it. Mm-hmm. And that part of that was learning how to control your body so that you didn't project insincerity when you really were sincere. So I would always do, well, I can really help you, but you don't have to go to me. You could go to my friend. And so I was pushing people away. I mean, how do you teach confidence if you're like, he's better than me? And I had to stop that, because that person was my mentor. So I was always sending everyone to him, because if he can help me, then he can help you. And I would just push myself aside, and he'd say, no, I can't help everyone. That's why you're being taught, so you could go help people. Oh, well, then I need to start.
That helped you make your shift into the confident.
Yeah, you have to own who you are. And that's where that 3 seconds came in. You have 3 seconds to give a strong first impression. You can build to it, yeah, but by then they've already lost interest. They want to go somewhere else.
You need to read her book, because she had a brain injury too, and she recovered and actually got a PhD after that.
Presence?
Yeah, Amy Cuddy. And she talks about the 3 factors your subconscious mind is looking for in that 2 seconds is confidence, enthusiasm, and passion.
Ooh, okay. And I stop short. It's confidence, and then
enthusiasm.
I got it.
And passion. And you can put that in your picture on LinkedIn. You can look very confident and professional, enthusiastic too. And the words you use, the language you use in your profile can project those 3.
So confidence, enthusiasm, and compassion.
Passion.
Oh, passion, not compassion.
Jobs, passion.
Well, geez, I exude all of those.
Exactly. I can't believe you used to push people away.
I would push them on purpose. I mean, people do, I want you. I do, no, you don't want me. You want that person. He helped me, he can help you.
Right.
Like, how do you make money? I'm not, because I'm too busy pushing them.
Right. I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know this stuff, but this guy knows it better. It's like.
Well, as a storyteller, you're never the hero of any story. You always have mentors and guides from everything else. So when I think of everywhere I've learned from so many people, and I give them all credit. But what I've learned through the past couple of years is you give them credit, but It's in you. You are a conglomeration. You are a gathering of all that information you've pulled from separate people. So now you are one of those entities of knowledge. You are a knowledge source. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think of it. I just saw me as a conduit.
All those experts learned it from somewhere and they compiled their perspective and taught it to you.
Yes, but it took me a bit to catch on to that. And I like to encourage people to do the same thing. It's like, yeah, you're in the room right now. You're learning a lot from me. Now go out and give it to someone else. Just go give it out. That's the whole thing about being a coach and a trainer and, to give back to the world, but not from just one point, but to give back multiple points, just like with you with your book and me with my book. I can't reach everyone, so I made the book so it can reach people I can't speak to. You have a book that will reach thousands beyond thousands and thousands and thousands of people that you will ever see on LinkedIn.
Right.
And that's why we do what we do, to outreach our solid body.
Right. And I've reached out to some LinkedIn experts to write the foreword for my book. And they're like shocked, like, wait, aren't we competitors? Like, no, we're not competitors.
No.
Very interesting. Like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I'm writing a foreword for a book and I'm a LinkedIn expert too.
Well, and, I do a speaker boot camp. Well, Gary, that's where I met you. I met you at the business one. And people ask us, you're doing a speaker boot camp to help other people become speakers. Yes. Well, then if they are speaking on the same topics you're speaking on, then aren't you building competitors? No. They do. That makes no sense. I do. No, it makes perfect sense, because we don't reach to certain people. Everyone's got a voice that they're waiting to hear. So we need as many of those voices out there from every shape, background, you name it, experience level, whatever it needs to be, that is speaking on the same topic, because then the world will rise to another level. Make the world a better place. Duplicate yourself.
Right. One of my first marketing mentors, Dan Kennedy, who's now actually in hospice right now, gravely ill, unfortunately, he taught us the pie is big enough for all of you. There's plenty of work for all of you. You don't need to compete. Work together, you'll be even better exponentially.
Exactly. And as a speaker, there are so many times I say, I'm not available on that date, but here's a friend of mine that I know who would be perfect for your group.
Yep.
And they do, you're giving away a speaking event? I do, well, would you rather not have a good speaker? I know a lot of good speakers. I can easily, push people over. I can help you. That's the thing, is it's a giving attitude. It's not a, what is that? There's no lack. Like your mentor was saying, there's no lack. Just do.
And I've got some competitors that are very cutthroat and they steal business and they steal my stuff. They aren't around usually long. Karma catches up with them eventually. I just believe, just do good things, help as many people as you can, and the universe will take care of you.
Yes. I like that. That's kind of how we live, don't we? That's why we get along so well.
That's why we all go to Gary's events, because we all are like-minded people like that.
Yeah.
It's not about winning and destroying your competition. It's about living a wonderful life and enjoying life and helping as many people as we can.
Well, and that's funny, because in my company that I work for now, the bender-careygroup, I'm the director of communications and training. And we were talking to this other group and they're like, wait a minute, you do a lot of free trainings. Yes, we do. So then what's the catch? There is no catch. Our goal at Bender Carey is to help entrepreneurs grow. There are so many companies that start and then fail, or companies that never break the six-figure mark. Our entire basis of our company is to help people make that six-figure mark and above, and to survive past the first 4 years, right? And so, and once they get to that point and they need to grow and shift again, the Bender Carey groups, we will help you find, whatever you need to grow to that next level. And they're like, that makes no sense. How does that not make any sense? Why are you giving things away for free? Because we need them to grow. And I can assure you, when they grow, they're not going to forget that we helped them at the beginning. Right. When they need a CPA, they're going to come to us because they trust us. When they need to buy equipment, they're going to come back. When they're having employment problems and they're like, their employees want to run, they're going to come back to us because we have a coach that will help them through it. Give back, help them grow stronger. we're helping.
If you help them make more money, they'll have more money to invest with you.
Exactly. And the thing is we're trustworthy, so they're going to come back. You know, we weren't out there doing, well, if you really want to know the secret, give us a couple $1,000s. We're not doing that.
Doesn't that drive you crazy?
Yeah. I love the videos of like, oh, if you want to do this, stay tuned. And you waited, like you watched the whole video for like 15, 20 minutes. And at the 19-minute mark, they do, for the answer, stay tuned for next week. And then they do it again. I'm like, really? That is the most insincere thing I've ever seen. I will never do that to anybody.
It's kind of like watching the news these days. They're always seeding the next story. And by the time they get to that story, it's like, that wasn't even much of a story, but you repeated it 6 times before. Like, what a letdown.
Yeah. Oh, and the story is the duck made it across the road.
Right.
What? We waited 5 hours for this.
Right. And that's what companies do with their marketing now. It's drives me crazy.
Yeah. You know, I'm loving the new job because I can still do my radio show. I can still do my speaking events. And now I speak for a company that helps other companies, which is exactly what I was doing anyways.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Ted. Well, you are a rock star on LinkedIn, and I'm so excited because I'm slowly incorporating your book into my LinkedIn profile. But because I'm in flux, I have to slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you out there listening and watching, seriously, look at Ted. Go stalk him for a little bit, and you'll see his page, how it changes and how he shares articles. You're very specific on articles, I think, because the things that you share, they make me either think or make me want to share it. Do you do that on purpose?
I just write from what comes from my heart.
Okay.
You know, you wake up, you meditate, you kind of journal, and it's just stuff's bubbling up in you. So you just put it out there.
Okay. So you do with your articles what I do with my Facebook Lives.
Yeah. I need to start doing more live videos.
And I need to be writing my things, my videos down and making them into more articles. I need more write. Definitely need to write. Wow. Okay. So we do that. We have the same process.
Yeah. You can't make stuff up, right? Just what's there naturally. And there's people that write those things and they try to lead you down a path to buy products from them. But if you're just, I don't know, I'd rather be just authentic and honest and genuine, and people know, like, and trust you. And they become buyers and repeat buyers and referrals. Yeah.
So for those of you who want a quick turn, our process does not work for quick turns.
Right.
This is a building of a relationship thing. So it could be a while before someone comes back as a client, or they'll just be a referral partner that sends people to you. So keep that in mind. And now those of you who have LinkedIn and do, well, I don't really need it. Yeah, I'm in the military and I don't really need it. Well, guess what? You're not going to be in the military forever. And when you go up for ranking, people are probably looking at your LinkedIn profile to see how qualified you are. So it's best to start building that LinkedIn profile presence now.
Yes.
I know my husband, military for 20 years, didn't want to do LinkedIn, didn't want to do any social media. But you want to go out into the real world, the civilian world, and get a job, people need to know your track record. So you need to be able to put out as much as you possibly can, at least have a presence where it says has been a member for X amount of years instead of 2 weeks.
Right. And I do free profile makeovers for veterans too.
You do free profile. Whoa, that's huge. Let me write that down.
Yeah, I had a guy reach out to me a couple of years ago. He was actually in Perry Marshall's coaching too. And he said, I've been in the Army for 18 years. 2 years I'm getting out, so I'm preparing for my exit. So he's learning marketing. And he reached out and told me this incredible story about, they made him an Army recruiter. He didn't know how to sell. And he was so embarrassed because all his peers were making fun of him. He actually convinced one woman not to join the Army. He said, you're the worst salesperson I ever met. I was ready to join the Army and I'm going to go join the Marines.
Oh.
So he told me this story, and then he actually was trying to kill himself going home from work, driving through red lights. He was so depressed.
Aww.
Then he started listening to personal development tapes on the way home, and he learned selling, and he became the top Army recruiter, where other recruiters started coming to him to, how are you doing this? Teach me.
He's sincere.
So I said, Cedric, you need to write this book. Write this book. He wrote a book. Like 6 weeks later, he sent me his manuscript. Coaching military people is the best. You tell them to do something and they do it. They don't question it. They just did it.
Military brats and spouses do the same thing. We do, sir, yes, sir. What am I supposed to do? And we do.
Here's my book. And we got it published. We got an editor. He got it published. Now the Army's actually using it as a recruiter's manual. He's getting all kinds of opportunities.
What's his name? Can people, does anyone get that book?
Cedric Crumbly. Crumbly.
Crumbly.
I can't remember the exact title of the book. It's about the Army, about recruiting.
Well, I'm just thinking, think about a book on recruiting for the military. It would work for off-duty too. I mean,
Exactly.
too. Recruiting's recruiting. You are selling people to give their life away to a country.
That's what I told Cedric. Cedric, you know what you're selling? You're teaching people to sell their life, basically. You're putting their life on the line for their country.
Yeah, if you can sell that, you can sell anything.
Right.
Because that's huge, huge hard sell. Wow,
So you went from the worst recruiter to the best recruiter in like a year.
Pretty sweet.
It was awesome. And he's just such a great guy. You should interview him. I'll introduce you to him on LinkedIn.
Oh, please do. I'd love to have him on.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a couple of vets in my mind right now that really need your help because I was going to buy them the book, but I'm thinking they probably don't have the capacity to even look at the book while they're getting out of the military, because there's so much that's going on as they're getting out that I don't think their brain can handle much more information.
No, I love to talk to them because I say, you've been in the military for 20 years. You've led people into battle. These are like high-level people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're terrified to get out in the real world. I've been in this bubble for 20 years. I don't know what it's going to be like. It's like you've been in prison for 20 years in a way.
Yeah.
You've got to go out to the real world. I said, you have so much expertise and so much leadership skills that is not in most businesses now.
Well, and that's the thing. Most of my clients have been retired military men because they don't know how to deal with the women on the outside too. In the hierarchy there, especially in the Army side, and the hierarchy they have to deal with, and they're so used to just either doing or telling. Yep. And there's this balance that you have to learn. And so as a coach, I've been helping them with that side of them, the mental state, and not everybody has to do what you say in that world. I mean, in your world now, yes, but the world you're trying to get into. And I think one of my clients, it was so funny because I just listened to him for the first hour. I just let him talk. And he said, well, when my men do this, when my men do this, and he kept talking about his men and his soldiers, his men and his soldiers. I'm like, you do know there are women in the room now. Well, yeah, men. And I'm like, no, you can't do it that way anymore. You can't. And so we had to work actually on his language skills more than anything. It was pretty funny. But
I like helping these guys and hearing their stories and redoing their profiles with them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I hope you all hear that. Free profiles for vet. He'll review them. So don't inundate him, but he'll review them. Say in the LinkedIn message, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm a vet. I need help.
Yeah. That's all you have to do.
Because Ted's like me. He actually answers. There are a lot of people who don't answer. We actually answer. And it's really us. It's not a robot. It's not an assistant. It's us.
Well, that's the thing. There's only 40% of people on LinkedIn are active more than once a month. So the big percentage don't interact much. But then there's that percentage. I call them hunters and farmers now. That's my latest. Yes. The hunters are the aggressive marketers. They're sending you the sales pitches through LinkedIn messages. And the farmers are like you and me. We're planting seeds all over the place. And some come later, some don't. I have people that have been on my email list for 10 years, and now all of a sudden they become customers. So
I want to put in my LinkedIn profile, do not sell to me. If I want it, I will come to you.
I've actually put that in there sometimes.
Really?
Or when I connect with somebody, I said, I'll accept your connection request if you promise not to spam me. And some was like, sure, okay, I'm not going to spam you. And then they spam me.
They spam me anyways. Yeah, that's what's happening to me right now.
They don't consider it spam when they're pitching.
Yeah, no, I'm just letting you know what I do. I know what you do. You put it on your about. I know what you do.
Right. And I don't need your service. Someday I may need your service, but right now I don't. So stop sending me. One guy sent me 3 messages in a row last week. Like over 6 days, he sent 3 messages, and it's about something about learning more about how to sell to women, or how to relate to women. Like, I'm not interested in your service. And I finally said, stop. He said, I don't want to fill your inbox with all unnecessary messages. Well, you can stop filling my inbox with unnecessary messages.
Yeah, because this guy wrote me, and then I told him, I'm not in need of your services at this moment, but I'll keep you in mind. And then he
Right.
wrote, well, I see you work with the bender-careygroup. Maybe they need my services. I do. I'm speaking for the bender-careygroup. We do not need your services. Well, I'm a coach and I can do that. I said, apparently you're not reading my profile. I am also a coach. We do not need. I'm like, really? How many times do I have to tell you I do not need? At the beginning, I would have remembered him forever, and I would have come back to him when we needed it. But now that he's written me multiple times, I will know not to remember his name.
Right. They're not the person I want to refer people to.
Yeah, I don't want you to be hounding people. It's a whole personality thing. Our whole thing, like you and I are, we're farmers. We just want to help people and lift them up and, you know, guide them and help them become better at whatever they're doing.
Right.
I'm not coming to hacksaw people, and I'm not going to send hacksaws to other people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like cold calling. You can call 100 people a day, you might get a sale. You can call 1,000 people a day, you might get a couple sales. But same thing with these LinkedIn messages. They figure, oh, I'll just cut and paste these messages and blast away, and maybe somebody will respond. And they might get a few deals, but I bet they don't get repeat business from those people, and I bet they don't get referrals.
Yeah, because it's definitely not me. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, they're too busy cutting and pasting messages to actually do any coaching if they're a coach.
That's true too. Now, we have about a couple of more minutes left, and I want to ask, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you really want to talk about? I know you have a podcast. Do you have another book in the works? I mean, what's going on in Ted's world?
No book right now. I'm just kind of
Relaxing.
Enjoying the summer. But no, I'm not sure what the next book. Gary's pushing me to write my story as opposed to a how-to manual, which I really want to do.
You should, because you're very entertaining. You have a good storytelling presence about you too. So
Thanks.
yes, I encourage that.
It'll come to me.
Yes, when in
Yeah.
time, everything happens in its time and place.
Yeah. No, I'm just really enjoying the summer. We're enjoying life right now.
Good.
Break from, I'm working, but I'm not pushing hard. But once September comes, I'll get back into that mode.
Good. You know, that's the whole work-life balancing thing that I talk about often. You need to know when you need to pull back so that you can recharge for your bigger times. And, you know, people watch me and they do, wow, Michelle's doing all sorts of things. And it's like, I have a couple of months where I've been back for surgeries or whatever, but I've been planning. And so right now I'm on my rear, coming right back up again. So I'm about to peak again. And then I'll disappear for a couple of months again and then come right back up. It's a cycle, right? It's a giant sine wave. It just goes. You've got to give yourself downtime so you can be more productive in your up times.
Yeah, that's why I like to try to meditate every day. Some days I don't, but most days I do. Just start the day clearing my mind and just kind of be receptive to all the signs that are coming to you.
I do it every morning, except this morning, because this morning my phone would not stop beeping. And I listen to a meditation tape through my phone. And normally I have it on airplane mode, and I was listening on my phone, and my phone kept doing bink, bink. So I'm all mellow and bink.
Yeah.
Not happening.
I think that's important to just do that, a little journaling, just kind of step back from the pace we're in. So everything is just going so fast right now.
Or as I tell people, it's when your phone acts up, what do? You turn it off and turn it back on again. Your brain is just a massive computer that's running this amazing body that's doing so many things for you. One, be thankful for that body. Two, turn it off every once in a while. Let it reset. And then you can come back stronger. The time period that you're off, the world is going to keep going, and it's not going to forget that you're there.
Yeah.
Turn off.
everybody needs to just slow down. Everybody's going so fast. There's so much stress now, and there's so much hate. It's like people just need to step back and do good things for each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're really at a breaking point, I feel like, and people are snapping, and these shootings every day now. It's like you can't watch the news anymore. It's just so depressing.
Well, I was talking to Paul Allen from the Ancestry.com, Paul Allen.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, the world just seems like it's in such disarray. And then I said, I don't believe it's as bad as we think it is. And he says, oh, really? I said, well, because I know in the town I live in, when we go into a grocery store, we're not beating each other up or shooting each other. So whatever the news is telling us is not true, because we have very conflicting philosophies in this town. And
yeah,
he's like, you're right. I said, yeah. I mean, we have hippie town in Manitou. We have a full military presence in Colorado Springs. We have like 4 or 5 bases. And then we have the military, the Air Force Academy. And so you've got pot on one side of the corner, because marijuana is legal here. So you have the military bases, pot, then you have people with flowers and whatever else they're doing in Manitou. I mean, we've got such extremes, but we all get along.
Right.
So something in there doesn't catch with me for the news, because this town should be beating each other up.
Right.
And we're not. So that means more of us should be meditating to make this a more peaceful town. And
or whatever you want to call it. My wife doesn't call it meditation, but she goes for walks with the dog, or she goes for runs, or plays soccer. That's her meditation.
Well, anything that makes you stop thinking about other things, just be. And I meditate when I'm on the cross trainer, for goodness sakes, or when I'm lifting weights, or when I'm sitting in a hot tub, just anything where I'm not stressing about what's happening around me.
Right.
I see that as meditation.
Yeah.
But in the morning, I really do. I'm doing nothing. I'm laying there listening to music, birds, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And breathing.
You feel so good. And get a little exercise. You just feel so much better.
Always, always. Okay, Ted. We are, for those of you who are listening and watching, we have Ted Prodromou. He is America's leading LinkedIn coach. And, well, you can find him on LinkedIn, of course. But he is also the award-winning author of The Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business. He has 3 editions of that, right? 3 versions. And then he also has The Ultimate Guide for Twitter. And if you are a vet and you want someone to take a quick look at your profile and help you improve it, write Ted. He'll answer you. What else? What else did I want to say? I'm going to read a book called Presence by Amy Cuddy.
Cuddy.
And basically, when you're doing your LinkedIn About section, it's all about them. What can you do for them? So think of the Janet Jackson song, right? What have you done for me lately? That's what everybody scrolling through was wondering. What can you do for me?
And people love stories, so phrase it in a story format.
Okay, story format, and make sure your header does something that catches them. Make sure it connects with you. So if you are a mindset coach, don't have a picture of, I don't know, a race car. I don't know.
Right.
Make sure it correlates so that the picture in your whole title, that whole title head, does something that connects to you, because that's the first thing that's going to catch their 2-second attention span. Yeah. And then the next thing is right below your name, your job title should probably not be your job title. It's what do you do? What do you bring? And it should correlate with that picture you put in there. And then your about section should also explain more about what you do for them and correlate all. So as Ted has mentioned it, it's like a book in a bookstore. When people are scrolling through, it's like they're walking down the aisle of a bookstore. Your title, that cover image is the color of the book, the font, the thing, that word that's going to catch them. Then you've got the title of your book, which is right under your name. And then the about section is that inside flap that tells your reader what you do or what's coming next. Did I summarize that well?
Perfect. You're good, fast study.
I'm a fast study. Pretty good for someone with a brain injury, right? I'm doing pretty good. So remember, you only have 2 seconds to stop the scroll. And Ted, is there anything else you'd like to share to close out our session?
No, just do good things for people. Be nice.
Be nice. I like that.
Help people out on LinkedIn or help people out in life. Just do something nice.
Do something nice. And don't send nude pictures through LinkedIn. It's a bad idea.
Yeah. Nobody sends me any. What's going on? No.
Don't say that.
I know.
I didn't say that. He didn't mean that, okay? But yes.
I do get the "Are you lonely?" messages once in a while.
Okay. What a way to learn to end the session here, our conversation.
Then it's usually a disappearing profile because it's a fake profile.
Oh, okay. You lonely.
You got to have fun. What the heck?
Are you lonely? I'm a 60-year-old man living in the basement of my mother's house. No offense to anybody who's 60 living in his mother's house, but don't send pictures. And so remember from Ted, what Ted Prodromou has told us, that LinkedIn is basically a giant index for people, businesses, and services. And just like Google, which goes out to the world, people are searching for you or what you do, what you can bring. And they can do that through LinkedIn. If you want to learn more details on exactly how to do that, get his book. Look up Ted Prodromou, Ted, Prodromou. And the book is called The Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business. And it says for business, but it's for life, okay? You can do it for anything that you're doing, and you can grow into more of the business searches and things of that nature. But first of all, get a LinkedIn profile and make it right. Thank you so much, Ted. You are awesome. And I really enjoyed my time with you. And thank you for spending an hour with me on a very, well, I would say your busy schedule, but you say you're taking it slow right now. So your calm schedule right now.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you join me again next week. And please look up Ted. If you're a vet, they'll do a profile check for you. I'm going to claim being a vet. I'm going to send in my profile. And I'm a spouse of a vet. It might work. And basically, be the best version of you. Be good to people. Be happy. Learn to meditate. Stop listening to all the terrible news on the TVs and everything, and focus. Focus. Look inward and find some peace. Have a great week, everyone, and until next time, this is Michelle Mras, and you can find this and many more on my website, www.michellemras.com. That's MICHELLEMRAS.com. Ta-ta.